So I don't need to be...
No. Sorry about that, anyone who's watching. We had a few little difficulties with Zoom, and now we're here and ready. So, welcome. So, my name's Richard Hart. This is my wife Anna. We are home educating parents, as you've probably guessed from the title of the presentation. And what we wanted to talk about today was how home education has positively impacted on our relationships with our children. And we've been home educating for about 3 years now, 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. And it really all came about after the pandemic. It wasn't something we'd ever considered doing. It wasn't something we thought about doing at all, and then all of a sudden, we were kind of given this pandemic, and we spent time at home with our kids, and then we realised actually after that they weren't going back to school for reasons that we'll talk about a little bit later on.
We just liked to be at home all together.
Yeah, we just really, really enjoyed it. And one of the things that's kind of cropped up subsequent to this is I have an older daughter from a previous marriage. So Amy's 20. We've got Alex, who's 8, and Sofia, who's 5 now, who are Anna and my children. And over time, Amy's kind of noticed that I have a different relationship with our younger 2 children. And she was asking why, and that's really what prompted this live, because we took some time to reflect on sort of how this happened, where we've come to in our home ed journey, and what she had noticed really was that our relationship with Alex and Sofia, it's more I guess collaborative and less dictatorial. So we tend to listen to them more as individuals rather than telling them what they should be doing at any given moment of the day. And it's quite a big shift, and it made us think about why this has actually happened. And I think a lot of us can relate to the fact that when we start to parent, obviously there's no manual, nobody tells you how to do it, and so you use certainly we did, or I did. I used my parents' role model as a role model for parenting when I was bringing up my oldest. And of course, one of the reasons that Anna and I have a different relationship with Sofia and Alex than I have with my ex-wife with Amy is that, of course, you've got a 50% different parenting team, for one thing. So that obviously changes perspectives. But just how we've grown into this over time, and how home education has kind of changed the way that we view our children and our relationship with our children. And as I said, I initially used the model for my parents and didn't really think about the psychology of it or child development. It was just, this is how I was brought up, so this is how you're going to be brought up. But
the same here, I also have my parents, and I was brought up in quite instructional way. We didn't discuss with my parents what I want for my breakfast, or what to dress, to the kindergarten, to the school. And I cannot say that my parents were tough or they were rude, or no, but just different time it was, or maybe not only time, but we had a quite long hour way to each other.
Yeah.
To that point, not to each other, of course, to each other as well, but to that point when we realized that homeschooling, it's just, it has more benefits than we were maybe afraid beforehand. By the way, before we start our discussion and properly, before we properly start our life, could you write in the comments wherever you are watching us, in Facebook or YouTube or in Zoom, I don't know, where are you
In
watching?
Facebook.
In Facebook. Are you already homeschooling, or do you consider this option as a possibility for your family? At what stage you are, and how many children in the family? How, I don't know, something about yourself, so that we could be more in the dialogue mode. So yes, we all, I think we all have our family scenarios, and we 99% of contemporary parents, they were brought up by without discussions of the feelings. What do I feel about oat porridge, or I don't know, omelette, or about without options that we give now to our children. By the way, when my mom is here with us, she is very just, she doesn't understand why we ask them, why we don't tell them what to do, just why we always in the dialogue. Yeah, it's not that she's protesting, but for her it's sincere surprise. Of course, she's like our home, our rules, but just wow, why? I haven't seen it before. 60 something years old woman, just wow.
And of course, another reason that I gave to my daughter about things being different is that I'm a different person than I was when she was, say, Sophia's age of 5. It was 15 years ago. I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago. And we change and we learn, and we evolve as well as parents as we learn this. And I think when I put the post out the other day, I had a few comments from people that even had kids within their family group. There might have been 7 or 8 years between the oldest and the youngest, but even in those family groups, the oldest was still saying, "Well, you're so different with the younger ones. Why is that? Is that fair?" And it's obviously we just change as humans. We progress, we move on, and we try. We all want what's best for our kids at the end of the day, and it's
what did help us to evolve? I think that just awareness of psychology.
I think that helped, yeah.
Because before we just didn't think about child development, just general awareness of psychological aspects.
But I think also, probably in the back of our minds, we had the same fear that a lot of people have before they start home educating, and that is, oh my God, I'm going to be with my kids 24/7. It's like, are we all going to survive this? And I think one of the truths of coming into home education is that you're spending more time with your children, so you're building deeper connections with them. Because normally, if you think about what life's like, and my oldest, she went through the school system, so I've done the school runs, I've done all that sort of stuff. I was, chair of the PTA, I was on this sort of the governor's board and what have you, and it's a different pace of life, really, quite honestly. You're not dragging yourself and your kids out of bed first thing in the morning, just trying to get them dressed, trying to get them fed, trying to get them out the door so you're not late. So, and then we were finding, especially with our little boy, he went to school for the grand total of 2 terms. And he would come home just stressed, really to the point of screaming pretty much every single day.
At the age of 4, 5?
Yeah. And this really was one of the wake-up calls for us, quite honestly. But also it meant that whilst he was in that state, you couldn't really do anything with him. You couldn't really interact with him. He was just so nervous that you couldn't be. And then you get to the end of the day, it gets like, they're home from school for 3 hours maybe, and then it's dinner, it's bedtime. You're busy preparing all that stuff, and so it goes on like every single day. And when you home educate, it just gives you that luxury of time with your children, and it gives you a chance, instead of when you're with them for short periods of time, I think you tend to focus on the negatives and, oh God, they're not doing this and they're not doing that, and why aren't they doing this? And why aren't they doing that?
We are late.
Yeah,
this is also negativity. It's stress. Additional. Yeah. What late for what? Late. Just each of us has its own rhythm.
Yeah.
Just consider this as well.
Yeah, and once you remove that stress, then you start to appreciate more, I think, the actual gifts that your children have. I mean, for example, Alex, he's a very, very gifted musician. He just seems to be able to pick up an instrument and play it. It's just, that's his thing. And then you start to understand more how they tick when everybody's not living in that stress all the time. Then you start to see sort of the real little boy or the real little girl appear. But also, as parents, it gives you an opportunity to regulate yourselves as well, I think.
About regulation of yourself,
Yeah.
I would say that here we should mention Theraplay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a psychologist, I'm a speech therapist in Russian language. Then I graduated from University of Amsterdam, and it was psycholinguistics, field of psycholinguistics. And then in the UK, I was studying in the Theraplay Institute. So as a psychologist, we were talking a lot about how not to scream
Mm-hmm.
at the child when he has his tantrums, when he has tension, he has his own stress after school or in any situation, doesn't matter, school or before school or after school, how not to be involved in his stress, like Huracan, but to regulate him. This is possible only if you are self-regulated. So all these techniques of self-regulation, meditation, I think meditations helped a lot.
It did. It helped me, certainly.
Yeah, for me, I go to the church. For me, praying helps very much to self-regulate. And of course, much more tiny techniques like breathing, square breathing, maybe or I can describe if I see the interest in and the questions, I will be more than happy to describe it. Honestly, all these techniques for nourishing yourself, let's say, techniques how to maintain your level of energy in a balance, together with we didn't start talking about playing, about game time with kids. This is what homeschooling gives, this opportunity to play with kids. And it's very difficult to overestimate. Can I say this in English?
Yeah.
To overestimate the influence of game for child development, for the development of the brain, human brain. So all these techniques and games, they are collected in my online advent calendar, and soon I am ready to launch it. To launch it, to start selling this advent calendar, probably even today, because it's Black Friday soon. Let me give you the link. You will read about this calendar, advent calendar with Theraplay games and techniques for self regulation, nourishing yourself. But let's continue talking what we found, what benefits homeschooling gave us. So more about games, how we started, how Theraplay principles started working in our family everyday routine, everyday life.
Well, the thing is, these games are really simple as well. I mean, it's, some of them involve just wet kitchen roll, or toilet roll, or a big sheet. They're very, very simple games to instigate. But certainly on a day-to-day basis. I mean, they're really great games. If your child is stressed, some of them are really great games for just helping them to regulate as well.
Yes, absolutely. To regulate, this is it starts with self-regulation, and then it comes to co-regulation with your child. But of course, it starts with self-regulation. You cannot play with a child when you are stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, to play, you can even with teenager.
Mm-hmm.
There are games for teenagers. Not only I don't know, babies and toddlers are playing. We are playing the whole life. Yes.
But it is. I mean, it is one of the things that you realise when you home educate is that when kids are at school, they're given, I don't know, 15 minutes to play in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, maybe, and a bit of time at lunchtime. And the rest of the time they're sat behind a desk. Now, our little boy, I mean, he's up and down 20 times during dinner. It's just that would be absolute torture for him. And so when you have them at home, everything is play. I mean, we unschool, so we don't have a fixed curriculum. We don't do anything like that. Oh, hey, Moira. We just literally we go with the flow. We let them lead, and we facilitate. And a lot of that takes the form of play. I mean, Alex, for example, he loves to play chess. He loves to play backgammon. We play cards. A lot of that helps with sort of counting it with numeracy. It helps with reading. It helps with all sorts of different things. But they're actually enjoying themselves while they're doing it. It doesn't feel like they're learning to them. And therefore they're just more motivated to carry on with it. And this was one of the big, I think, surprises for me, that was that educating them didn't have to be difficult. It didn't have to be, you didn't have to be sort of constantly trying to force them to do things they didn't want to do, that you could just naturally go with the flow.
To be in tuned. This is a very good word. To start even these board games or chess, to become in tuned with yourself, you can start with like football with the cotton balls.
Yeah.
Both from both sides. Or if more kids than football, football changes its rules. But just to show always pleasure of togetherness, and to nourish each other with your full attention. This is, by the way, this is the key.
Mm-hmm.
You just pay close attention to each of your kids and to each other, and you focus on relationships, and it happens naturally. It doesn't work. Okay, you come back from school at 1, secondary school at 4, 5, you are at school at 4:30, 5:30, we start, karate with paper roll. No, it's one of the Theraplay games. So it doesn't work like this. At 4:30 or 4:30, they can be moody, we can be tired, or they can be hungry, or some friends, they can call them outside to play outside. So it always should be natural. Games happen naturally, not by schedule. And when you are schooling, of course, it's difficult to
fit that into your schedule.
It looks like there are priorities. For example, I don't know, kids clubs or sport or maybe some additional lessons. This looks like a priority. But as a psychologist, I can say that there is no priority more important than to pay attention to your kids, to their heart, to their soul, what they feel. And when you blow these balls or make bubbles and catch them with your, I don't know, elbows or with your feet, of course, if a child is frustrated or something under pressure or something happened, of course he will somatic of child is so transparent. No, our somatic is also transparent, but you will see everything obviously, and you will start talking, and this is the whole atmosphere created of trust, of dialogue. Very often we are in our families, we live together, we can live together, but like, do you have this expression in English, like with the furniture? Sometimes even husband and wife become like furniture. But you live together, but each of us live in the mode of monologue. Even if we talk where we go for the weekend, but it's very shallow. And each of us in its monologue, in its genre, in its like scenario. It's so much happier when you live in dialogues, and when you are able. Sometimes you just need time, and homeschooling gives this opportunity to be constantly in the dialogue. Of course, it doesn't mean that you are always 24/7 all together.
Yeah, and Moira just put a comment that being in your childlike state is something kids need and demand a lot, and it's good for us as well. And Dawn, who is mum of 8, so, which is wow, that's quite something. I love the term being in the flow when you play, as it is the richest learning, exciting and energetic.
It's such a nice.
Oh, hi, Susanna. Lovely to see you as well. So, no, you're absolutely right. And being in the flow, just capturing those moments, really, and running with them. And I think just the biggest luxury you have with home education is just time with them. I mean, that is what it gives you. And, I saw a statistic recently that we have spent 90% of the time that you will spend with your children is gone by the time they're 18.
That is deep.
And I'm feeling that with my oldest, because she's obviously now 20, she's at university, I don't see her regularly. I mean, we're in different countries at the moment as well, but, and obviously as they get older and more independent, you see less and less of them. And so this is why this time now is so precious, being able to have them at home to home educate, because they'll be gone before you actually know it. I've seen it happen once, and it sometimes it can seem like forever when you're in it, but actually when you look back, it passes by in a flash.
It's true. Have you read the comments if the parents are already home educating or
already? Already in this case.
Okay, wonderful. Then for you, it's not something frightening that you need to spend so much time together. And I want to continue this theme that we shouldn't be together all the time. Each of us have constitutional right to be alone and to devote some time to yourself. And even when you're homeschooling, you do this, and otherwise you cannot be in resourceful state. You cannot. The responsibility, our parental responsibility, is to look after ourselves, adults, to take responsibility for your mood, your inner condition, and then to shine, to radiate love, warmth, and what you want to radiate. It's your choice what you radiate, or anger, or what vibrations do you radiate. And for me, it's also it's like, I think it's my responsibility in the family always to organize time in the couples. So we have 2 kids now at home. So me and Sonia, Richard and Sonia. Me and Alex, Richard and Alex. Sonia and Alex, me and Richard. So in pairs. It's also a very important dynamic.
Hey, Karen.
In relationships. And then only after this, when you nourished your relationships with yourself in the couples, then you, of course, then you have energy to organize something together for all of us, or even with extended family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. but no, I mean, it's so true. You need to just be feeling it. It's very easy to get caught up in the dramas of every day and to just forget about yourself, and to sort of lose connection with yourself as well, honestly. And so,
or to go dramas, or to go to the gadgets, or
yeah,
just to escape,
just to retreat into
to
something.
escape, because it looks like it's too difficult, but it's not too difficult. You have Theraplay, you have a lot. There is a lot of information how to cope with yourself, how to self-regulate. I want to give this link. I'm going to give it after this live,
Yeah,
or maybe
I can.
now it will be messy because I don't remember this by heart. But you have this. Of course, you have this. Wonderful. We discussed it already. This website we discussed with my Lord King. Everything what is in English. Richard checks first. And I think it's already ready for Black Friday. We have the best prices, of course.
So talk a little bit about the Advent calendar.
Advent calendar, it's a unique product because I haven't seen anything like this. That's why I say unique. If you have seen, then share information. I'm more than happy to. Where are we? More than happy to cooperate to enrich my products, online products. So this Advent calendar works like usual Advent with chocolate, sweets, or cosmetic products, or with toys. When you open the window, and there you find something pleasant and useful by surprise. Before you open this little window, you don't know what is inside. The same principle you can find in online Advent calendar, but there every day you open the window, and there you find two items in one window. One practice for adults, for self-love, for self-regulation, and the main part is the game with my video introduction or explanation. Because one thing is to read the rule, let's say, catch the bubbles with your elbows. Bubbles like soap bubbles. No, this is quite dry explanation. But when you hear my voice, my explanation, how to encourage your child to do this, how to engage your child to this active game, or how to play with the snowballs. In our countries, in England or in Cyprus, we don't have a lot of snow. But you can still play with the paper, with soapy paper. And it's the best way to release your anger or stress that after...
For you and the kids.
For both, yes, absolutely. And it's lovely. It gives new new stage for next activities. After this, you can make steps to new activities. And there, in the calendar, I explain all these sinusoids in our conditions. Why sometimes we need to go deeper inside to nourish ourselves, how to make this shift from being inside and then to go outside. It's different energies, in different vectors. Also, of course, I give in this calendar much more than only Theraplay, because my let's say academic, how you call it, recordings, background, and my motherhood, my personal story, helps to share my personal insights, how to deal with, for example, highly sensitive children. Another question that I want to ask, to be more in the dialogue: are you acquainted with this phenomena? Do you know what is it, high sensitivity? Because our children are highly sensitive, and only after we took tests for them, we realized that we both are highly sensitive parents. So we could be very, volcanic family, very emotional, very with lots of explosions. So self-regulation for us is very essential, and our kids, they are both highly sensitive, but in absolutely different ways, different layers, different. And I like to talk about this, about high sensitivity as well. And in Advent calendar, I touch this theme as well. Also, what is the question that I receive quite often about discipline, how to discipline your child. I don't know, maybe it depends on your interest, on your questions. If you...
Portia's saying she feels that high sensitivity in her family. Hi, Portia. Nice to see you.
Maybe to make separate meeting, next meeting.
Yeah, I can do a separate call on high sensitivity.
To devote this to high sensitivity, or maybe to discipline in the family, because some parents struggle. Where are the borders between being soft, trying to be the best friend with your child, and to structure, to discipline them? Sometimes there is illusion, I would say that it's an illusion of opposition between softness and discipline. Discipline shouldn't be with metal in the voice, icy cold. It's not discipline. It's a voice of our inner traumas if we can make discipline only with metal inside us. This is our family scenarios that work and just don't let us soften our heart to set borders. Because, of course, it's parental again. It's our responsibility to set the borders, to give our children the concept of personal borders, of self-respect, of respect of others, all this. And I don't know if to talk more about this now or maybe later. This theme is quite big.
We'll say it's a big theme, and we've already been sort of 40 minutes, so I think
it's already, yes.
Yeah. So
today it's our first meeting. Really, it's our first meeting ever.
Like as a couple doing
this. As a couple doing this. If we need your feedback to run it further. We will be happy. We like communicating and sharing, and just I feel very energetic to give, to talk more, to share our personal stories, and to answer your questions. If you like this format, how you call format?
Format, yeah.
Format, then why not? We will continue with great pleasure. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just I'll when we put the recording of this out, we'll put the link to the Advent calendar again. But also, just to say that when you purchase the Advent calendar as well, you get access to a webinar with Anna. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, at the end of December, I think after Christmas Eve. So let's say between 25th and 31st 30th, I would say 31st will be busy, 30th of December, I will run, every year I run this webinar after Advent calendar is passed. Yeah, after you have this idea what is Theraplay, and you practiced already for 24 days these games and resourceful practices for yourself. After this, I run webinar, and on that webinar, I give more precise information about attachment theory, about it depends who is in the audience, maybe polyvagal theory, maybe without theory, but a lot of moms who come to me, they are psychologists, so they understand all this, what is sensory attachment, what is terminology. If it's not interesting, so we will be 24 days, we will be in touch, personal contact, and just we will absorb information from energy from each other. And by this webinar will be only for those who know what is Theraplay games, what is Anna Hart, Richard Hart, what are our values for, to create our tribe. I think, by the way, another very important subject, how to build, how to filter your circle. How homeschooling helps you to find like-minded people and to develop relationships, sometimes online. It starts online, but then it becomes like best friendship. Richard wrote his post recently about our weekend in Devon. Just unexpectedly online acquaintances become, I would say, very important friendship for your soul, because let's say homeschooling helps to build your tribe, to build your circle, and this is not less important than relationships in the family. And the kids, you have this luxury on homeschooling, you have this luxury to give your children also to communicate with like-minded families. And they understand that it's not, must to communicate with people who accidentally happen around you. You can choose even this. Together with your breakfast, together with your clothes, you can choose your communication.
School's such an artificial environment in that respect, in that you're in a class with 30 kids, you're sat next to people who you might not necessarily want to be sat next to, and we're led to believe that this is sort of normal, and that you have to choose your friends from the people that are in your year or whatever, and this is the other thing that we found with home education, is that the kids actually, they're capable of communicating with people of all ages, whether it's younger, older, and they enjoy it, and they're not afraid to talk to adults and hold a conversation, because adults aren't that authority figure in that sense of being sat in a schoolroom and being told when you can go to the toilet, put your hand up, oh, you can go now, or just being told what to do all day. So that's another huge benefit, and something else that helps them build their relationships in the future on a more even footing. I mean, Alex cracks me up. He's got quite an eminent violin teacher, and he absolutely, he's able. He talks to him as an equal, and it makes me
sometimes
smile.
We think we smile because we think that it could be a little bit polite. But just
it's that confidence level.
Confidence level, And Victor is not. He never. I think he's that person who would tell if he doesn't like something, anything. But he continues communication like with
adult.
Adult. No, not like with adult, but like with the person with whom this tone is not false.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well, I think, shall we wrap
I
it up
think,
there?
yeah, let's end for now. And I feel already that we will continue on and on, because it's just pleasure to talk like. And I like to practice my English, honestly. This is my challenge and my level of confidence, because of course I run consultations in English, and my advent calendar is in English. By the way, it's in English. Yes, it's in both in Russian and English, for Russian audience on one platform, for English in another platform. But still, if I talk like this in English, it's just pleasure for me. I hope my accent is comprehensible and and everything is
Clear.
Understandable. Yeah.
All right. Well, oh, hi Joe. Lovely to see you. Thanks for coming along. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. So thank you everyone ever so much for coming along. I hope you found a bit of value in there, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. I think we'll probably do a series of these over the next few weeks, touching on different subjects and how they relate to home ed. So you know, do come along, and we shall see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye bye.